G'day fellas, welcome to my first game against Noosh, and the first cast that I'm going to be doing which takes you inside the mind of the Drongo. In this game, it's part of the African Championship tournament for $1,500. Noosh, currently ranked 2 on the ladder, incredibly talented, incredibly good player. I'm going up against him in the first round. This is the quarterfinal. It's a best of 5 series. So this is not a spectator game. This is from my perspective. You're going to see everything that happens. So beginning of the game, I'm playing Hausa. I'm playing on Darfur. It's a good map for me. I'm happy with this. So the opening strategy, drop down that market as quickly as possible and get those cows onto there, dropping down that granary immediately, and then making sure we're herding in. So I'm looking for a wood treasure. I picked that up at 30 wood treasure because the idea is I'm now going to head down to the trading post and drop down a trading post. Now, he's playing Ethiopia. Now, the meta has shifted with Ethiopia recently. I'm not super duper confident on exactly how he's going to play. I know that there's a new build called the Star U build. I don't really know much about it or the way that it plays. All I know is I've got my man Kanoki, who has hooked me up with what he says is one of the best build orders for the Hausa. And he said, Drongo, try this one. So that's what we did. So I practiced this build order. I watched it a couple times. I refined it a little bit and got something down, got something that I was a little bit happy with, and really tried to fix it up and use it against Noosh. So bringing out the best build order that I could find. Now, there's another build order that I've recently become aware of. If I'd known about that build order, I probably would have used that here as well, because that build order was absolutely insane. So here's the deck. It's called Noosh. I've only got 24 cards in it, because we only need 24. Don't need that 25th one. So once again, this is a tournament game. This is part of the African Championship that is being hosted by EGCTV. So I'm currently casting this one live on Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure that you head over. The finals are going to be happening today. So if you'd like to watch the finals and the semi-finals for this tournament, jump over. I'll leave a link down in the description. So the first thing I'm going to be sending from the home city is the 4 cows. So this has become a more and more meta thing for people to do. Instead of sending 3 villages, which, you know, the African civs have got access to, or at least the house has got access to, sending in the 4 villages. And the idea behind this is we're going to be using this for a timing. So we're going to be using it to get a whole bunch of influence at the exact same time. Bring it in extra quick. We're also eating up one of our cows so that we can get our age up in queue a little bit faster. I'm out on the map, scouting around, looking for his explorer, and trying to find him because I know that he could be out taking a big treasure. Towards the middle and the north of the map, typically those bigger treasures are there. So now we've got our age up coming in at 2:30, so a pretty decent time. I'm very happy with this age up time and scouting out his base. So I'm going to be applying a lot of pressure by doing this. So when the build order that I'm going for is designed to sort of keep him in his base and then enable me to build up my mass. I want to really focus on my economy, and it might seem a little bit strange to be doing that in a 1v1 where you kind of spawn close. There's no water on this map, but the idea is that I want to be preventing him from expanding out. Now, on this map, he's going to have access to a fair amount of hunts. There's 3 hunts in there, but what I can do is I can utilize the university to overcome the amount of units he's got, and then as long as I can hold his push with the Sebastopol mortar, I should be able to win the game. That is really what this comes down to. So the question is, how do I neutralize the Sebastopol mortar? Because we know that it's going to be coming. Okay, if he sticks to H2, he's not going to win. He has to go to H3. And so it really comes about how do you do that. And so for me, the idea was I want to try and get as many javelin riders out as possible, but obviously back them up with Fulani, and then I need something to tank. So your Lafidi rider. And so that's exactly what I'm thinking about at this point. I've got my explorer now coming back to take out just a couple of the little treasures. I'm just scouting out exactly what he's up to. And now the build order begins. So aging up, 4 minutes on the dot, dropping down that war camp, and straight away having the House of Kingdom arrive. Trading post goes down, as well as the university. Going to be trickling in that XP super duper quick for us in the early game. Picking up the 300 wood as well. So with this, we're going to be dropping down a second war camp. So yes, we're going to be going double war camp. And with this, it's going to enable us to really hit hard and hit fast. our opponent. So a little bit delayed on this shipment because we did send in the House of Kingdom, but it's important to remember that it is what we've invested in. So we've, in the meantime, we've got a lot of experience that's coming in. We're going to have a nice trickle of influence as well. And so now we've got the Desert Raiders. So I put them in queue, but then I realized I probably didn't have enough food to get a full batch out. So I said, you know what, my Desert Raiders are already delayed from the home city. And the best way to deal with that is to just re-queue them. That way I can get a full batch. Also getting an upgrade as well. So at this point, I'm thinking the game's going pretty well because he had a relatively late age up. Now I'm selling my cows. I've got the raiders out, so 6 raiders. There's the 5, so 11 raiders in total. We're at 5 minutes 20 here, so early in the game. And you can see I'm using those House of Builders now. So 2 House of Builders are coming out. There they are. Dropping down the second war camp. House of Builders coming out, so going to be dropping down. We're going to be dropping down double palaces with those. So that's going to be used as our defensive standpoint. It's probably the best way to say it. And then the 700 coin going to be coming in behind this. And so we're looking to just sort of keep him in his base. He's done very well in getting all of his hunts inside into his base. He's got a very well-placed base building as well. You can see the very circular approach he's taken to his base. He's got 5 Abens out already, so definitely focusing a bit more on eco. I do spot that he's got the Abens, and I say, you know what, the fact that he's got the Abens means he's really going to be focusing on his economy. So I make a little bit of a mistake here, losing a lot of HP on my Raiders to his Gascania. So I'm just trying to fall back. The Gascania trade very effectively against Raiders, so you just want to avoid fighting them. The whole idea is that you really just want to be keeping your opponent in the base, but the problem is he's got so many resources in there that I feel like it probably wasn't the right decision. So now we've got the double cab batch, which is going to come out. So once again, losing more units here. I think I realized at this point that he's got a trading post up, and so I say, you know what, we might take out the trading post. 700 wood going to be coming in as the follow-up, so we're going to be switching into Fulani, but at the same time, there's still we're kind of mixing it here. So we're at the 7-minute mark. I've got out plenty of units. I've got my economy all up. The one thing that I'm missing, and the one mistake I made, I didn't drop a second university, and I needed to. A second university here would have been equivalent to like 2 trading posts. So it's frustrating that I forgot it, but it's not the end of the world. So I should have had a university just placed right next to my war camps right there, and I'm going to be waiting for that 700 wood to come in now. So now that the 700 woods come in, I'm going to be looking at transitioning into the Fulani. So I haven't really done any idling at all. So if I was going to judge my early game, I would definitely say my plan hasn't gone, or hasn't worked, because I haven't been able to do any idling of him at all. He's kept everything underneath his town center. He's prevented me from coming in underneath the town center. His Gascania, in particular, have traded very effectively against my raiders. And now I've got a problem because his mass is beginning to build. He's going to be up to age 3 very shortly. He's going to have a big boy, and I haven't slowed him down at all. And that's my main concern, is there's the age 3 at 8 minutes now. And he's done that with 5 Abuns as well. So now I know the push is coming. And so the question is, how do you stop that push? Because that push is going to come. So one of the questions I was thinking about is, if I can try and get him in underneath my palace, then potentially, instead of sending Lafidi from the home city, I can actually send my I think they're called the Somalis, the Dervish, or the Devrish. I can't remember exactly how they're pronounced or spelt, but the idea is that I'm going to be attempting to go for those if he comes in under the palaces. So the idea, there's a lot of HP on those palaces. If he begins to siege them and begins to move in nice and close, then I can send those dervishes. Now we see that the big boy is out, so straight away we just fall back. Big boy doesn't have any pack up time, so there's no point in like trying to delay it. That's one of the real advantages to the big boy. A lot of people don't give it that respect that it should have. So with falconets as an example, if I know my opponent's pushing across the map with 2 falconets, I'm going to try and engage with them as they're pushing across the map to force their falconets to unpack, and then they have to pack them back up to get moving. With the big boy mortar, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all with the big boy mortar, because you just shoot and keep scooting. And so you can see he's already across the other side of the map. So at this point, I think I've made a little bit of an error. So I have used my House of Builder very late here and dropped down that university. So that should have been out 370. It should have been out 370 influence ago. So now you can see I can't actually ship my Lafiti Knight. So I think I'm a little bit panicked at this point. He begins to push in as well. So ideally, I just want to be under my palaces, preventing his Gascania from sieging, because I need to wait now for my shipment to come through. So I've moved everybody over to influence, and at this point I'm just kind of holding on, and I'm saying, okay, my influence is trickling in, but he's not pushing in any closer. You can see that he's just sitting out with his big boy. If he was coming in closer, I would have been going for Devrish instead. So I made a bit of a mistake here with my raiders at the back. That was unintentional. I think I lose a couple. Ideally, I should have about 10 or 11 raiders at this point, but I've only got about 6 because I've just had very bad trades with them. And you can see that my army is kind of measly at this point. Like, it's not a particularly strong, not a particularly big army, but I'm about to get a pretty good pop on my javelins. So this is going to make it look a lot more healthy. First palace is going down. This is going to give me the time that I need for the second one. Now, if I'd gone for Devrish here, I think I would have been in a really good position, because he begins to push in with his Gascania. This is exactly what I wanted. If right now, I'm thinking, oh my god, my Devrish pop would have been amazing here. I try and get on top of this big boy as quickly as I can. I've got my Lafiti hitting it, but unfortunately the Lafiti don't do a lot of damage. I've got the raiders there on top, but the pathing isn't the best. He manages to take a shot on my back line, but only takes out one of my Fulani. And now my javelins aren't focusing down the big boy. The big boy's still alive. He's on half HP. And at this point, I still realize, I'm like, wait, that big boy's still alive? God damn, what's going on at this point? I try and fall back, and I thought I had the fight. And then I realize that Noosh has managed to overwhelm me. Unfortunately, just too many units. Had those Devrish come out, the Devrish probably would have two-shot the mortar. So if I had gone for the Devrish instead of going for the Lafiti, I think that I probably would have won this fight. And at this point, I call good game, and we move towards the next game. So that was the first game. So I think that the Devrish would have definitely won in this series, just simply because they bypass the ranged armor, and bypassing the ranged armor is so important. Because it's 75%. On top of that, they do it from range. If you're watching this on YouTube, I encourage you, head over to Twitch, because within the next couple hours, the grand final, as well as the semi-finals, are going to be on Twitch TV. It's going to be on EGCTV. I'm going to be casting with Interjection for the grand final. There's also going to be some other people casting some games. I think Fitzbro might be up for some games. I think Harrison might be doing some games. So make sure you check it out. There's a lot of big names up there, including Give You Anxiety, and people like Mito. Aze is also going to be taking part, so get in there, take a look. I'll catch you guys in the next one.